Hello guys, you're welcome to the tailor's hub. So in this video I'll be showing you how I made this play suit. Alright, so I encourage you to watch the video to the end, and if you have any questions, please do well to ask me. Please like and subscribe if this is your first time here, and turn on your notification so that you know when a new video is uploaded. Thank you guys to everyone who has subscribed. See you in the next slide. Bye. Alright guys, you're welcome back. The first thing we need to do now is to cut the pants. We'll cut the pants. So now take out the half length. Remember, this is a play suit. Take out the half length. Which is 17.5 for this particular measurement that I'm using. The length of this play suit is 38. It's not going to be as short as the one shown in the style. Alright, so 38, this is 38. Okay, so I'll go ahead and add my M allowance. I want to add 2 inches. This is 2 inches. Okay, so now this is the what's it called, the length and the allowance that we need. Then this is the upper part. I want to use this place as my upper part, then use this place as the bottom part. So I'll go ahead and take this half length up here again. This half length is the top part that we're going to join to it, so I'm taking it out. All right, I'm taking it out, assuming that it was already there. So now I'll go ahead and measure the hip line. The hip line of this particular person is 27, so I add half inch, which is 27.5. all right, so now for the flap, okay, the flap of this person, I want to measure it straight up from the waist. All right, so to enable her sit well without any disturbance around the her private part area, so I'm going to make the length of her excuse me 12 inches. This is where the tie is going to sit on. Okay, so I like to use the layman's language for easy comprehension. So now right here, take out 2 inches, rule out 2 inches. All right guys, so now measure out the 2 inches from the waistline here till you get to the flap, where the flap ends. Okay, now draw a straight line and extend it to the middle point like this. Draw an arc. Draw an arc here. Okay, you can use a tailoring ruler to do that. Okay, draw an arc here. All right, so now the next thing you need to do on this point from here, okay, measure your tie, the fullest part of the tie. That's where you measure here. Okay, the fullest part of the tie, the fullest part of this person's tie is 28. And when you are cutting the front part, make it the exact measurement. You're not going to add any allowance. All right, I'll show you why as we progress. So our tie for this one is 28. Divide tie into 2. I have 14, which I just measured now. Okay, that's 28. Okay, so right here is her knee measurement, or somewhere below, above her knee. So now I'm going to take out about 2 to 2.5 inches. I take 2 inches. Okay, draw it up and connect to the lap, to where you measured your tie. Okay, to where you measured the tie. Now from those points you measure the knee. Her knee measurement is 22.5. if you divide 22.5 into 2, let's go ahead and divide it into 2, you have 11 1/4. Okay, so this is 11 1/4. Like I told you, make it the exact measurement. So connect it. Okay, we'll get there. All right, so now this is the hip. This is the hip line, this place. You should measure the hip. Okay, so from this line, measure the hip. This person's hip as well is, our hip is 46. So now for the hip, you are going to divide it into 4, not 2. All right, this is for the tie. The measurement here is for the tie. But once you cross this line to this place, you are going to measure a hip and divide the hip measurement into 4. All right, so if you divide 46 into 4 for this particular measurement, you have 11.5. Okay, you are going to add a little allowance. You are going to add a little allowance to the hip. Add your allowance. Okay, come up here. Come up here. From this line here, measure the waist. Her waist is 34. Okay, 34. Add 1 inch for the dart. 1 inch for the dart. All right, then also add ½ inch for what you are going to hold here. You're going to take in ½ inch here, add it to it. All right, then the allowance on the waist, which is also 1 inch, is fine. So it is from this point that we're going to fold in the pockets. The pockets, I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to fold in the pockets. So from the allowances, connect it to the measurement of the hip line, then take it down. All right, that's about that. Okay, so I like to take out a little ½ inch here. It's because it's a play suit. If it wasn't a play suit, I'm going to really bring it down so it doesn't have this folding that you see some pants have. Okay, so I'll take out ½ inch here. All right, and connect it to the other side of the waistline. So we'll go ahead and cut it. So now the next thing we'll do is to cut the back. Okay, so I like to explain a few things here. This is the back. You should add enough allowance. For me, I will add about 2.5 inches to from the thigh area down. Okay, from the thigh down. Why? We made the thigh and the knee measurements here. We made it the exact measurements. Okay, so that it's, it gives a perfect fit at the front, and every other thing goes to the back, and even the bum is going to carry it, and take the whole take more space. All right, so that's why we add all the necessary measurements to the back, and the back should be more than the front. All right, that's for the thigh and the knee. So we'll go ahead and add 2.5 inches. Add 2.5 inches down. You should trace it so that it follows the same shape. It should follow the same shape. Can you see it? Then up here, whatever you add here, up here from the hip up, is going to be the zip allowance. The zip allowance. Make sure that you start shaping it from where you shaped it at the front area as well. Whatever you add here is going to be the zip allowance Okay, that's it. The zip is going to be at the back. The zip is going to be at the back. This is the zip allowance. However, if it's not going to be at the back, it's another story for the day. So now, because the bum will raise the pants up, you should add at the top area here, the back side of any pants, whether it's a jumpsuit, it's a pants, or a playsuit, should be higher than the front. It should be higher than the front here. So what I'm going to do now is to add, I like to add a lot so it relaxes well on whoever is wearing it. Remember, I have taken off ½ inch here. I've taken off half inch, so I'm not going to add it to whatever I'm going to add up here. So I've taken, I want to add 1.5 inches, but because I've taken away ½ inch, I'll add 2 inches up here at the center place here. Add 2 inches. Look at it. Then connect it to the end of the waistline here. All right, connect it to the end of the waistline here. Because of the bum, if you don't add this, it's going to come down. It's going to come down. And he's going to sag. If that's the right word to use, it's going to sag. So you should add this at the upper part of the back. So that's about that for the back measurements. So we'll go ahead and cut it. Okay, that's that for that. At the front part of the place, so it's like it's wrapped and is slanted. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut that slanted wrap on the front part of this particular playsuit. So what I'll do is to measure, because it's not going to be the same length. I want to measure this. Okay, now the length of this pants, the front part, is 22 inches. All right, 22 inches. So what I'm going to do is to cut a skirt block, just the front part. I want to add about 5 inches to it so that it gives that slanting effect. All right, so if you add 5 inches to 22, it gives 27. So I go ahead and cut 27. You know, I don't need to add any. I measured everything, both the allowance and all that I'd already cut on the playsuit itself. So I measure her waist, which is 34. I add the that allowance. I may not need to add any other thing because I'm still going to cut it out. Okay, so the hip line, like I said earlier, is 27. I add ½ inch, 27.5. Then I go ahead and measure her hip, which is 46 on the hip line. So I won't add any allowance because I'm still going to shape it out. I'm still going to shape that one side of it out. All right, sorry, I folded the material back because it's not is too much. All right, so I'm not going to add any allowance. I'm going to make it like a pencil skirt, so I'll reduce it by 1.5 inches. Okay, then okay, so what you do now, measure her waist, her exact waistline. I don't want to put any dots on this skirt. It's just going to be on it like that. So our waistline is 34. This is 34, but you know that it's going to enter into one side of the place. So I'll leave the allowance for this side. All right, I'm going to leave the allowance for this side, which is 1 inch, and I measure exact waist measurements, which is 17.5. It won't get to the end of the joining. By the time I take in half inch here, is to just go a little close to it. All right, then from that point, okay, you determine how much you want it to cover the playsuit. It doesn't have to be exactly the way it's. You can copy the style, hook, line, and sinker, and you can decide to make yours go over it a little or be a little wider than that. Okay, for me, so I'm going to take and just measure the center. The center of this one is 10.5. Okay, I want it to just cover, go over the center part just a little, maybe about 3.5 inches. So I make it fall so that by the time I sew it, it falls back to 3.5 inches. Okay, now let's go ahead and connect all. Okay, so now this point is where I want to slant it from. Let me give you, this is where I want it to be. Slant it from here, and then this is my 4 inches. Okay, can you see it? All right, this is my 4 inch. This is where I want it to. Then from this point I take it, okay, so you cut it out. Then here, okay, so here is it. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut the upper part. Oh, so the upper part is just the sleeveless. I'm going to cut sleeveless princess that bustier cut. Okay, so our half length, like I said earlier, is 17.5. I just go ahead and make it 18.5 straight, which is take out 1 inch up, 1 inch down. All right, I measure the armhole measurement. This is all the vertical measurements. Our shoulder to nipple point is 10.5. I make it 11 for, I added half inch. That's for the what's it called? Sorry, the sewing allowance. Then shoulder to our under bust is 13.5. So I go ahead and make it 14. Okay, so that's about that. Then on these measurements, I measure the back, her back, which is 15. Okay, I make it 8. I make it 8. All right, I make it 8. Okay, so now this is on the nipple point. I measure the bust. Her bust is 40. Okay, I go ahead and add allowance. I add enough allowance. I think my last video I was talking about, one of the reasons why I add a lot of allowance on the front on my bustier is that all the measurements goes, I take it out at the back, and the front measurement is usually bigger than the back. That's the way I do it, and it comes out beautifully. It's bigger than the back side. Okay, I make it like that. You don't have a breast on your back. Maybe that's what informs my decision of doing it that way. Okay, so on this waistline, on her underbust rather, I measure her waist. Her waist is also the same measurement. Her underbust is the same measurement as the waist. Okay, so I add 4.5 because of all the cuttings and all that. Then also the waist down, 4.5. Okay, okay, so now measure her nipple to nipple point. Nipple to nipple point is 8, so I add half inch. That's 4.5. I trace it down from the shoulder here down, measure 6. That's where you're going to shape your princess cut. Okay, remove half inch and 1 inch here. Okay, add again the 1 inch up, so that by the time you cut, it balances up. It doesn't become shorter than the center front. Okay, I'm also going to remove the distance between this place and this place, 1 inch, then curve it. Okay, all right, take away half inch down at the center front, then connect it to the bust point or the dart point, as the case may be. Okay, measure the neckline. I want to make it 4 inches, the width. Then remove ½ inch here to slant the shoulder, so to have a fitted okay. Then measure the depth of the neck. Here is just 3 inches. Not going to be, the neck is not going to be deep. All right, so that's that. Now what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and cut the band. There's a band, if you notice there's a band on the upper part. Then the lining, the linings, the stays and all, then we'll go ahead and join all together. All right guys, so I've joined the back, joined the zip allowance. All right, so here is the front with the wrap. Okay, so we are going to place it correctly on it. All right, so then the pocket, so you measure 1 inch like I told you, 1 inch, the allowance that we already put, that's what I'm going to put. Then the length of the pocket is 6 inches. You trace it down. Okay, then join the pockets. You are going to fold that place in and notch this point where the 6 inches end. Okay, so by the time you join the pockets, I'm going to go ahead and join it now. I join it, then fold it in. So I've already joined it now. Okay, then I cover up the pocket. All right, okay, so the pocket you are going to be is going to be joined to the back. All right, then it ends at this point where I notched it, then continues, but before then make sure you raise it up like this and join these points. Okay, all right, then for the, this is the upper part. All right, so I've already joined the shoulder, held the sides. Okay, so the next thing to do now is that I'm going to open it up. I'm going to open it, iron all the necessary parts that needs to be ironed. All right, okay, then we join it to the bottom part. All right, okay, so that's about that. Then the wrap as well, I've joined the wrap, added all the necessary stay. So that's that. All right guys, so I've already joined, as you can see, the wrap on the shorts. Okay, so the next thing I'll do now is to join the upper part and to the waistline. I'm going to join it. All right, this is the way I'm going to join it. You join it on the waistline, and that's about that. Our play suit is ready. Okay, so you join and join it also to the back and close up the zip